Hello everyone and welcome back. If it's your first time here, please take a moment to subscribe and give me a follow on Instagram. The robot overlords appreciate it. Today, I'm going to be let loose on a more creative aspect of EDC. I'll be customizing the Damn Design's Ghoul a nice ombre color. So power through that intro with me and we will get started. For those who have hopefully watched the video that I did here, on the Damn Design's Ghoul, you may remember that I bought this to dye the G-10 handle scales a nice ombre. To do that, I will need to get a few tools together and prep the scales. Don't worry, I will be sure to go step by step with some dad jokes along the way. So first, you'll need the knife that you're going to dye. Duh. You'll need some RIT synthetic dye. Definitely make sure it's synthetic. A pan that will be deep enough to fully submerge the knife scales. And you really don't want to use this pan to cook with after, so use a pan that you don't care about. Make sure it's stainless steel. You'll need some water, some paper clips or some thick wire or coat hanger, some gloves, a proper tool to remove the handle scales from the knife, usually a Torx driver, regular dish soap, rubbing alcohol, a scrub daddy, not to be confused with any other daddy, and paper towels. The overall plan? Not to make a mess. I just cleaned this kitchen. Next, you'll want to gather all your materials together. I like to separate them like an assembly line. I'd recommend washing your hands, and even though I'll be wearing gloves, there's still going to be oil on my hands, so I will need to get rid of that with soap and water. Next, I'll need to take the handle scales off the ghoul. And as you can see, it's really easy to do so because there's only 3 pieces to remove. Here, here, and here. In general, most modern knives use a Torx screw that are T6 or T8 sized. Personally, I think T2 was the better Terminator movie. So get ready to put your gloves on. Now, for me, I realize that this looks extremely comical because these gloves don't really fit me whatsoever. This channel is named Petite EDC for a reason, after all, but these gloves were all the store ever has. So next, you're going to want to take the knife apart and then put all the pieces that you don't need aside. So now that everything is taken apart, you're going to want to clean the scales thoroughly. Since white G10 picks up anything, I need to get the blue from my jeans off of it. So what I'm going to do is gently scrub the scales with my scrub daddy and some soap and some water. Rinse the scales well, and then after that you're going to want to take the handle scales and rub them down with alcohol. Alcohol will remove any oils that may still be present on the handles. Once you're done, set the handles aside on a clean paper towel. One thing I want to mention, especially when you're done washing these, is to make sure that you don't touch these with your bare hands after, purely because of the fact that any oils that get on this after the fact will mess up the dye process. Now we're going to set up the RIT dye for the dyeing process. So gather your ugly pan that you don't like, paper clip or wire, paper towels, water, and dye. And scales. You need those. That's important. Because this is my first time trying an ombre style for G10, I plan on going really slow with the amount of dye that I'm using and how long I keep dipping it. If you're just going to straight up dye the scales all one color, then follow the instructions and measure and do all the process that you normally would for dyeing. I will periodically add more dye as I go to make sure that the end is rich black, but it may take me some time to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a time lapse here so none of you get bored and skippy skip. Look at how beautiful this looks, even though I accidentally dropped it in there. So now you're able to wash the G-10 to get any excess dye off. Be sure to thoroughly dry the scales and ensure that none of the dye is coming off on the paper towels or your gloves, or in the water. You can also take this time to clean and oil your knife if needed as well. So now the next step is to put everything back together and then show it off to your friends and make them jelly. So here it is, the final view. I love doing creative projects like this. And if you liked learning how to customize your EDC setups yourself, then please like this video for me. It will let me know whether or not I should do more videos like this in the future, like a tutorial on how I etched my Jesper Voxnaes knife. Also, feel free to let me know in the comments what suggestions you have for future EDC customization projects yourself. As always, I try to end with something inspirational. Something nice because everything feels like it's on fire because it's so hot out. So my inspiration for you all today is if you find yourself dehydrated and you need a pick-me-up, try some feta cheese. The salt in it can help replace the salt you lose in your sweat. Also, if you can subscribe and share my channel with your friends, I would appreciate it. It helps the channel grow and it can help more people find out about me. Thank you everyone for finding the time to make it to the end. My self-esteem thanks you.